Hello and welcome to my new layout, Luketon. This is a 6x4 1930s layout based somewhere in the southwest of England. Running around today we have the lovely Oxford Rail Adams radial and a pair of Hornby's new rebuilt London South Western Railway carriages. Very nice models. I have a M7 shunting a few wagons. Yeah, this is just a quick tour just to say welcome. The basic layout is constructed with Pico set track. Being 6 foot by 4 foot, I didn't really have much choice on this one. To get what I wanted in just wouldn't be possible using code 75 points. Although, to be fair, once laid properly, it does run rather nicely. The track has been weathered using an airbrush. There's quite a few people who do it that way on YouTube, so I won't go into that. It's just rail match paint, ballasted with the usual PVA water mix. A lot of the buildings here are Metcalfe. Now, I like Metcalfe. They're quite handy kits, they're pretty price friendly, though I am just using them as a stand-in just to sort of plot out what's going where. It's a small station with a run round loop and 2 sidings. There's a road that comes down off the slope across the bridge by the station here. Coming round at the back of the station will be a staircase down to ground level, as road access is not possible, although I might have some sort of hint of a car park in this area perhaps. The station building here doesn't fit especially well. Again, it's a stand-in. I'll be going with the Wheels Craftsman Southern style station building, which will sit nicely just in this area here. One of my mates, Paul, he managed to give me the footprint of it, which is yeah, spot on. The signal box here is made by Wheels. That's a nice little kit. There's a ratio interior been fitted in there. Again, that's a nice little kit to put together. The building will be lit eventually. I just need to get some better bulbs. The one I've tested here in the goods shed is rather orange for my tastes. Get a nice warm white in there, should look lovely. The yard will have a small coal facility, and obviously the goods shed, so dropping off the odd van, a couple of coal wagons a day. Not too much in the way of heavy traffic. At this end of the layout, we disappear into a tunnel mouth. Now it's set just off the backboard, so it should be just enough to get an impression of some sort of hill behind there. Focus. This area around the shop will sort of be built up, so it's not all flat. Likewise down here where this little hut is sitting temporarily, I want to build up a bit of a hill area there. So yeah, pretty simple, pretty small. It's a bit different from the usual 6x4, which I shall go into in just a minute. See you in a minute. So here we are back at Luketon now, 50 years later. This is exactly the same layout, just the other side of it. Running around at the moment, we have the Network Southeast Class 108 DMU from Bachmann. Again, a nice model. We usually have third rail electrics running around, but there appears to be some work going on the third rail here, so the juice is switched off. The goods shed has been demolished. In fact, that whole siding has been lifted now. That will become some sort of small scrapyard where the digger is. The little shop remains. The road bridge is all in place. The signal box is now closed. It's been boarded up and the staircase removed. Also, to accommodate the longer trains, the platform has been extended just around to the level crossing. Now the barriers have been removed here. The gates that come with the Pico crossing are very nice, but they're not really appropriate. I want the ones that lift vertically. Same sort of tunnel mouth. So it's exactly the same layout, except it's just moved on 50 years. Basically, I couldn't decide whether I wanted to do a 1930s layout or try trains from when I grew up. So I thought, why not do both? And there's the other side, just over the backboard. Now each side works as the other's fiddle yard. So the southern station and run round loop will hold 2 trains. The 2 sidings by the goods shed will hold a 2-car EMU each. And likewise this engineer side in here will hold the radial and the 2 coaches. I can get schools and about 3 coaches in the main line, and say a 2-3 car EMU where these fellas are. They're just plonked on for now. This side's not really developed as much. Just thought I'll put something on there to make it look a little bit more interesting. You'll have to forgive the lighting, it's a rather gloomy day today. Obviously the platform skin's not gone on yet. We'll have exactly the same station building, the same staircase coming down. The road bridge is all the same. I need to draw on the roads on this side. I've seen a nice kit Wheels have just released for the modern level crossing, so I think I'll give that one a go. It seems to be exactly what I'm looking for. I've got the 3rd rail in place on this side. Let me focus. The jumper cables and whatnot. These are just basic Pico components. The ballasting will obviously be done up to the platform edge once it's painted. Excuse me. Yeah. Simple stuff. Yeah, there's not really a hell of a lot going on this side at the moment. So we'll have a quick look at the control side of things. Right, so here's the control panel that's under construction. It's a pretty standard wooden box. The actual control layout is selectable for DC or DCC. This big hole in the front will be a Gauge Master panel mounted controller. For the meantime, until I get that, I'm just jumping it off an old Hammond and Morgan controller with some crocodile clips. The DCC control comes out the side, and I'm using again Gauge Master Prodigy Express. I like Gauge Master controls, their customer service is fantastic. Inside, the wiring's all pretty simple. The base for the DCC unit is in here. The little whirring you can hear is an old computer fan running. With that ventilated as it is, I wanted to make sure it didn't overheat, so I thought it was best to have a little cooling fan in there. The capacitor discharge unit sits just on top of it. That obviously controls the points. The switches, can't remember where I got them now. I think they're Expo ones. Yeah, simple center off. That is a on-off switch. I use red, green and black for point control. Purple and the yellow is just for any old 12 volt feed, and the heavy gauge brown and blue household wire is to the track feeds. As I'm jumping DCC on there, I thought it would be best to have a proper bus wire rather than just rely on the usual. It's held closed by magnets. A nice positive snap. It's easy to open, it's easy to close, but it won't fall open. I want to try and get as much stuff working on this as possible. So the lighting, I want to try and get as much of the lighting working as I can. I don't really want to be adding millions of switches into the panel for that, so I'm going to wire it to an LDR. So hopefully when it gets dark, the lights just come on, as opposed to having to switch them manually. Things like the level crossing on this switch here. We're using servos, Pico Smart switches. They seem quite good. Do the job. Semaphore signals will be controlled that way. Over on the network southeast side, 3 aspect signals, 2 aspects will be controlled by the point motors. Now the point motors fitted are SEEP PM1s. They've got the accessory switch. These would just happen to be left over from a previous layout. Points work. So yeah, not a great deal going on there. It's a pretty simple panel. I'm quite the stickler for tidy wiring though. So we'll have a look at that. Right, so I've just been crawling about underneath the layout to try and film a bit of that. Unfortunately, for lighting reasons, I can't do that at the moment, so we'll have to revisit that in a future video. One thing I did forget to mention on the control panel is, if anyone's wondering why I've used a manky piece of wood with a hole in it for the top, I haven't. At the moment it's a temporary cover for the programming track. I've got to make something a bit nicer than that out of plastic card, just to cover the top of that, keep it nice and clean. So when I do chip a loco, I literally just whip that off the top, place it on, and off I go. If you do want to see a little bit more of the layout, whether you're interested in 1937 or 1990s Network Southeast, come back, have a look at some more videos. For now, I shall leave you with the M7. Catch you later.